Oh, yeah. Welcome to Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, brought to you by Blue Microphones. They look great. They sound even better. I need a drink. You know who it is.
Here's my buddy Andy.
It's your buddy Andy, America's little brother. And as always, I am joined by Gnarly Nick, the Garlic Dragon.
Bam! Bam!
There he is.
If all goes well for next week's recording session, you guys may get just a little bam bam.
Garlic infused something or other?
Well, that's what I'm working on right now.
You're demoing it?
Dessert form?
Well, we'll see. I'm going to see how far it'll go. I'm going to push those boundaries.
Yeah. Got that right.
Boundaries will be pushed. We'll see about today.
Andy's the biggest Kiss fan in the world right now, by the way.
Yeah, I am.
Anybody listening or anybody who's ever listened, think you're a bigger Kiss fan.
Nope, not possible.
Nope. Sorry.
I just noticed the Kiss logo has an Evel Knievel motif.
That's true.
Yeah, I've got on a Kiss Alive in 77 t-shirt with some red, white, and blue stars and stripes. The Alive in 77 is red and white stripes.
The pictures are from 1978, so
Yeah, so
authentic merchandise.
foreshadowing. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Whatever, who cares? It looks cool.
It could be Tommy Thayer for all we know in 77 on that shirt.
And you know what? I wouldn't care.
I would have bought it.
No,
anyway.
it's a pretty quality shirt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care.
No
I got
question.
it.
I like
about
it. Looks great.
Got it at Target. Don't care.
I haven't been to that Target in a long time.
No. I got this in a WrestleMania t-shirt, which had a mishmash of different matches that may or may not have happened over history. It just says WrestleMania, and it's just got a bunch of different faces.
People who may or may not have ever been in WWF. When you were at the store getting that shirt, was everybody all right? Was everybody keeping a cool head?
Yeah, I think so.
I wasn't so lucky earlier
no.
this week.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. Well, hey, we didn't even introduce Chris.
Oh, that's
we have
right.
to introduce Chris, or
Yes.
the show didn't really start. So
It sounds like you found yourself in another scenario where that could have used a guy like me.
that's right.
Yeah.
You want him. We got him. The breakout star of the podcast medium, Chris L.
I think we need a gunslinger, somebody tough to tame this town. I think we need a gunslinger. There'll be justice all around.
There he is. Chris L's in the house. Thank goodness.
Succumb to my power, my age, and my weight.
You're going to make that stick, aren't you?
I hope so.
It's got to be a shirt.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, might need. Speaking of which, did we get new merch hats?
We did. We have new hats.
I'm gonna post those up.
Yeah.
I'll be up in time by the time this hits the airwaves.
Yeah.
Unless I'm too lazy to do it, which I have been for a week now. We've had them.
It's okay. If you're not a social media person, you just listen to the podcast, because there are those people that I've heard from.
Good for them.
They bought things
Those
from
are
us.
they're called happy people.
Yeah, exactly. Good for them.
They've said, hey, I don't follow you guys on whatever, Twitter or Facebook, but I listened to the show and I bought this hat. Thank you. So we've gotten that. So if you're one of those people, we've got new hats, baseball hats. They're like, what's that material? I can't think of it again. Twill.
I don't know, burlap.
What was it? Burlap. It's burlap.
Hemp.
I don't know what it is. Go to potofthunder.com and look at it for yourself.
Where are they? I haven't even seen them.
They're in the back porch. I'll go get them.
Do these have like the floppy Gene Simmons ball cap profile?
Yes, they do. They're the relaxed fit for your relaxed lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's not really going to work for me, but if it works for you, please purchase it.
That's right.
I'm not that old yet. I'm getting there, but That's when you really know you're old, is when you wear shitty ball caps with no structure to them whatsoever.
What a sales pitch.
Flopping a piece of cloth over your skull.
See, that's interesting that you say that, because when we were kids, it was the opposite. There was an old man down the street who wore this hat that was about 8 inches tall.
Oh,
and it had the logo for Surf detergent on it.
Bright orange.
Wore it every day,
You could
happily.
Went great with his Sports Illustrated pullover.
It's just amazing, though, that like this guy, every time, because he lived on the next block, and we had our
Surf detergent.
our aunt and our grandma lived on
That's great.
right past his house. We'd walk all there, all the
you
time.
could see
back
this
and
guy
forth.
coming too.
Yeah, with
That
bright
hat.
orange hat. We'd see him all the time in the summer. He'd always have it on for years.
That thing was a beacon in all seasons.
I would like to know the history.
Precursor to the Make America Great Again hats of the modern day.
Who knows? Maybe Surf stood for something, and we just thought it was the detergent.
Could
Maybe there was
be.
a fine print on there.
Probably is. We are sex perverts along those lines.
Succumb to
Yeah.
under, I don't know, something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to. Anyway.
Succumb under raging fucking. I don't know.
Could have been. His wife
As good
hated
as
that hat.
anything. That's how they came up with it in the marketing department at the parent
His wife was
company,
always
Surf
walking
Detergent.
with him. So
Yeah, she was. She was walking funny, but she was walking with him.
So,
So you had a story.
Yeah,
what
Nick,
happened?
oh, just a brief
we
thing.
need theme music for Nick's Larry
We do.
David-esque misadventures.
yeah.
Have to work on something.
We could do temporary, but
To buy a mandolin.
well, why don't you just start?
I don't. Well, it's
Yeah, don't keep us waiting.
it's
We
not
love
very.
these stories.
This is a short one. One morning I'm at the store.
Which store? Waltz again?
Well, I don't want to say which one.
Why not?
I don't know.
Something.
What do you mean you don't know?
'Cause
I don't know.
It's an individual who worked.
Why don't you want to name the store, Nick? I don't know.
It's an individual who worked at whichever store this happened at. So I don't want to say the store name.
Oh, this is okay. Fine. Jesus. What type of store?
A
is
grocery store.
it? Okay.
Yeah, it's your
That's the best we
confession.
can do right now.
So it was Waltz. Go on.
So I'm walking down the back aisle by the milk, cream, and everything
You know why they keep it back there?
because the
'Cause you got to go through everything else to get to it,
yeah.
and you'll probably buy something you didn't necessarily need.
true.
All very intentional. How a grocery store is laid out.
well, I'm allowing myself to be manipulated.
I'm sure
every time.
everybody knows that, but you never know. There's still people out there who don't know what the little arrow next to the fuel tank icon on your dashboard
Yeah.
means. But anyway, go on.
So I'm walking down the back aisle. I hear, as I'm approaching the saloon-style stockroom doors,
yeah.
I'm hearing indecipherable yelling and screaming.
Male or female voice?
It was hard to tell at first.
Okay.
Turned out to be a male voice.
Okay.
So I didn't stop and peer through the window, but in passing, I looked. I could see through the window.
Mm-hmm.
A guy unloading the truck. Overhead, like you're doing a throw-in in soccer.
Okay.
Box above his head. This sucks. Whips it down. Grabs another one. Throws it. I mean, like, the picture that came... I was thinking about it afterwards. Like, who have I ever seen that sounded that angry?
Yeah.
And Jim Harbaugh was one guy who came to mind.
Interesting.
Jim Harbaugh on the sidelines.
Yelling on the sidelines.
Frothing at the mouth. Yeah, I got out of there. I didn't hang around, but...
See, this never would have happened if Nick wasn't by the milk and the saloon doors at that exact moment.
appropriately saloon-style doors.
Expect someone to come flying through them.
A bottle
whatever.
getting
Yeah.
thrown over. Yeah.
So he just yelled out, "This sucks."
It's awesome.
Oh, he
whipped
was
down a box.
He was yelling about something before that, and maybe best part of the story, there was another guy doing his job right next to him,
Quietly.
grabbing the box off the truck and gently putting it down on the pallet or whatever.
Something had to happen. You
I
wonder.
don't know, but yeah, just throwing boxes and yelling and absolutely losing it.
My best guess would be that this guy normally doesn't do that job, or
That could be.
Or he got demoted.
Something happened where he had to replace or fill in for someone because someone called off. Whether he already had a long shift or he's I don't think a manager would behave in that manner, but
No.
a different position.
Well,
Perhaps he lipped off to the manager, and this was his punishment.
That could be
Unload
it.
that truck.
Yeah.
Or get out.
You can go home when you're done unloading this semi that just got here.
Exactly.
This sucks. It makes
yeah.
sense to me.
I mean, and it was one of those where if I was with my kids, I would have had to explain something. You know,
Yeah.
you're
Kinda
put in
like
that
how
position.
you had to explain the odor in the Meyer bathroom a few weeks ago.
Well, they saw exactly what
So
was going
there
on
was
there.
no explanation required.
There was evidence
Men
left.
of the world now. They
2
know
plus
what was
2
going
right
on.
there. Yeah. Yeah. So that was my little adventure.
All right.
Just some guy losing it completely in the stock room.
Always happens when Nick's coming.
Mm-hmm.
People start to lose it.
I
Has
always
this
have to,
effect on people.
I always have to watch my peripheral vision because something's always going on.
Nick is a magnet for chaos. I don't know what it is about him. He's
I-
not the one performing said chaos or participating in it,
Not
but it
necessarily.
happens around him.
Not looking for it.
Proverbial linchpin of this sort of thing. In fact, the only person I've personally witnessed be immune to that was Anton Fig. He somehow maintained his composure when you were hovering over him at the autograph table at the last Indie Kiss Expo
Everybody
we
else
went
lost
to.
it.
Yeah. Lita Ford just went berserk.
She did, didn't she?
I didn't even go by
She
her.
actually did. She had a mild temper tantrum about something. I don't remember.
She
what.
left, walked away, or something. Yeah.
And
I didn't see that.
This happened soon after Nick drifted by her booth.
I do
She
remember.
just burst through the saloon doors that were near her area. And
I do remember making eye contact with her
That's what did it.
for a
That's
split
what
second,
did it.
and for no reason. She was just standing there holding her puppy, and I was walking around, and I just kind of looked over, and she happened to look out toward me.
She's like, "Did you see what that guy did to my puppy? See the face he made at my puppy?" And she threw a tantrum, and walked out.
Yeah, threw a
Nick-
box
Nick
over
is-
her head.
Nick is he's a real life Larry David. Stupid shit happens to him
yeah.
and around him constantly.
Well, speaking of stupid shit, it's my turn
Oh yeah,
to pick a song from the list.
How about we speak about something that's not shit?
No.
What's in the foil?
the
Oh,
great
what's
taste
this
of
week,
donuts in a cake.
Oh.
Oh, that one recipe you tried it. Huh?
Here it is.
Well then.
This was a request.
Nick's rocking a pretty fancy T-shirt too. I just noticed it.
Not bad
Abe Lincoln,
for president.
1860.
Yeah,
Is that authentic?
yeah. Pre-beer.
Yeah, actually, the picture of Lincoln is from his 1862 solo album, so a similar continuity error, if you will.
It's actually Lemmy. It's got the same bumps on his.
That's
on
a
his
good
face.
point. I never thought of that. So what are we doing over there? We got a treat.
We got an
Is it
apple cider donut cake sent to me by request by the gentleman to my left, Mr. Chris.
Well, I just not necessarily by request to have it
Inferred
done
request.
here. I appreciate it, but this looked like a slam dunk, no brainer recipe, especially for this time of year. It's
Yeah.
starting to cool down a little.
It's been devoured at home.
Yeah.
So
Well, here's what I think already.
It should be a lot of fun.
Devoured by everyone in the household.
just about not everyone, but
Well, who abstained? The littlest one?
I think the littlest one hasn't had it yet.
He will.
He's got to have his ho-hos.
The other two boys had it, and you know what they're doing right now?
The Jones guys are having a night tonight, aren't they?
Well, this morning they were feeling down in the dumps.
Well,
hold on.
And they had about 20 spare seconds to listen to a sound clip.
Oh, no.
now, producer of the year at it again.
Well, I threw him a screwball.
That was it. I'm sorry.
Well, I would imagine there's enough sugar in this dessert to make this happen. Not enough sugar to make Andy a better producer, but here we
When you're
go.
down in the dumps and you need something to bring you.
And this is what it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, that amount of sugar will do it to you.
That's nice for Daddy.
It's the most Kiss episode we've ever had.
It's been a long time.
It has. I hope you get a Kiss solo cut. How about that?
That would be cool.
Something we've never heard before.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, anybody else excited about the new Ace album coming out in a week or so?
Oh, it's not out yet.
Or I
they
think
just
ad-
keep teasing cuts.
Yeah, I think
Does it come out today on the release of this episode?
I
The
think
albums come out on Monday now.
on
don't they?
Fridays.
Fridays.
It's this Friday as of the
Used to be
release date.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Used to always be Tuesday. Yeah.
Because we're recording this on 9/11, September 11th, and I remember 9/11 was on a Tuesday, and two albums that were released on that day, very interesting. And you want to talk about linchpins that could have possibly been? One was "God Hates Us All" by Slayer. And the other one was Silver Side Up by Nickelback. So
Now, the one album I remember, it didn't come out on September 11th, but I remember I worked at the music store, and they had maybe a couple of weeks after that, the Strokes album was coming out, and they had a song called "New York City Cops," and I think they all got recalled, so that song could be removed.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
happened.
So it was negative.
it was something like "They're not too smart" or something like that was the chorus.
Real highfalutin lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you going to do? You can cut that up?
Cut it.
Cut it.
Slice it up.
Time for a baked treat. Baked treat.
This gets better every week.
It does.
Yeah, maybe Jericho will change his opinion. he just outright hated it.
He did.
Yes, it made him hang up on us.
An hour and a half later.
So you were saying it's your selection tonight?
Yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You just gonna go back to normal, punch up the Bozoputer, and
Bozoputers.
make it happen?
We're going to dust off that pewter. It's been a
No
couple
tributes to Cool of Cool and the Gang passing away.
See the February episode that we did
Yes.
for
Which,
Fresh.
by the way, after he passed away, I went and revisited a portion of that episode. Nobody else in podcasting is delivering the level of commentary that we are. Listen to that episode again. You don't get the quality on other shows that you get on this show, and I'm just going to come right out and say it. It's a fact. Nobody else is talking that kind of nonsense.
That I would agree with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's the Michael Jordan of seduction. I mean, where else are you going to hear
What are we
bullshit
talking
like
about?
that? Where else are you going to hear idiocy, abject idiocy like that?
Hopefully nowhere.
I don't think anywhere.
I have some cake.
Yeah, it's time to have some cake. If you're playing along at home, dust off whatever it is you eat cake off of and make it happen.
Stripper's ass, maybe.
If there's a dusty stripper's ass at your house, you probably should pause the podcast and take care of that first.
Yeah. How long has that stripper's ass been exposed to? How long does it have to be sitting there to be collecting dust?
Well, maybe they're sanding drywall or something. Maybe there's an excuse. You got to find work where you can find it these days. Who knows? What the hell? Anyway. So, all right, we're going to dust off Bozoputer, like I said. Chris, how's that cake?
It's good. Great flavor. If I had to critique something, I would have expected it to be and would like it to be a tad more moist. It's a little slightly drier than I was expecting, and I mean slightly. It's not a deal breaker. The flavor is there.
I think that we'd have to increase the milk a little bit
For next week.
Well, next week all bets are off.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what's happening.
Candied garlic or something.
Don't know yet.
I trust you, Nick.
Is it still going to be baked?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of has to be with that theme
Yeah,
song.
that's true.
You're locked into that.
Can't be a fried treat.
Can't bring any sous vide shit into here.
It doesn't work. So, Nick, I was just saying, I trust you next week.
Uh-huh.
You know who else I trust?
Who?
I trust the listeners of this show.
Oh, boy.
You want to know how much I trust them?
As far as you could overhead throw them in the stockroom?
Tell them this sucks. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I have so much confidence in the listeners of Pot of Thunder that you are going to pull that Bozoputer lever.
All right, I'm gonna.
And we are going to get an incredible song on the first pull. Are you ready? Give it a pull.
All right, you asked for
Stand by. Let's go over to the Bozoputer.
Number 1639. And you know what, Nick?
Huh?
I don't even have to look.
You want me to do it?
Why don't you come over here? I'm not going to look.
Oh, boy.
I know it's good.
All right.
We're
Well,
gonna.
who's going to make the decision, though?
It's decided. It's happening right
You're
now.
just going with
We're
it.
going with it.
Russian roulette.
I'm not even looking. I highlighted the number. Can you read it? Uh-oh. He says the hell. Uh-oh.
All right, if that's what you want. I don't know what it is.
All right.
You recognize the band, at least.
No.
Do I need to come over there and look at this?
2493.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't take that kind of chance.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Whatever it
This
is.
is legit, too.
All right, here I got it. Can we do this?
This is Andy he didn't see it. This is just me reading it.
All right, Hamill. This one's called
Diamond Dogs.
Off of...
Oh, wait, no. Do it again. I'm sorry. I did the wrong one.
Uh-oh.
Darn it. Okay.
All right, Hamill. This one's called
We Are the Dead.
Off of...
Diamond Dogs.
By the band...
David Bowie.
Ow!
This will make Andy happy. It's one of his all-time favorite artists, right?
This is exciting. With a mouthful of cake.
Yeah, this is one of Andy's guys here. Mm-hmm. I suspect more than 50% of people listening, this is their guy as well. He has quite a following.
Quite a
still.
following to this day,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so let's see. This is from Trey Jackson. I knew, Trey, I believed in you. I don't know who that first person was. I believed in you, Trey. He says, the king in his prime.
Oh my! Would you just without going too far into the song before we listen to it? Would you say that that's a potentially accurate statement in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I have weird pockets that I like.
What era is this? Like around what time period?
Late 70s.
Oh, okay.
Late 70s, huh?
Yeah. This is, hold on. Right? Yeah. Diamond Dogs, isn't it like 77?
I don't know. You're the Bowie fanboy in the room.
Yeah.
Let me see. 74. Never mind.
Oh, my.
74.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
going to say
mid-70s.
that surprised. Even I know that late 70s is more like your Lodger,
Yeah.
your, that's really the only one I could name, but it seemed more later in the decade.
The only album I know is Warsaw.
That's off
That's
of
not
Low.
even. That's not even an album.
Yeah, that's on Low, which
Yeah.
is in the
opening track.
the trilogy with Lodger. So
So
Diamond Dogs, 74. Let's see, what do we got here? What number is this on here? Which one? It's number 8 out of 11.
Any comments from the individual who submitted the song?
He just said the king in his prime. That was it.
All right.
We Are the Dead, huh?
Yeah, I almost thought it was an Alice Cooper type song.
Yeah, or isn't there a Misfits song called that too?
Probably.
Or something like that.
Probably. I'm pulling up any interesting info here.
Or here.
Eighth studio album. 8 albums by 74.
By David Jones.
He was banging them out. My goodness, yeah. So, are you familiar with this album at all? Either of you? I'm a little. I'm not.
I don't
and this
know
is the album
anything.
that has Rebel. So,
I like Rebel.
we everybody knows that one.
I remember seeing, I think on SNL, for whatever reason, he played that one. It was like the mid-'80s.
Yeah. And then
I remember liking that performance.
Yeah. And they did that thing with those TVs, that weird, and the second performance. All right. Well, are you guys have anything you'd like to say? Because here, I mean,
All I would like to say is that David Bowie is one of those artists that I have never really been into his stuff directly, but everybody I'm a huge fan of loves him. Mm-hmm. So there's something there.
yeah.
But I just have never really come across anything by him that really grabbed me.
Okay.
That's but I'm aware of his enormous influence.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar. I wouldn't say that nothing of his has grabbed me, but I was actually thinking about this the other day. I've never owned a David Bowie album of any sort. Never in my life. Obviously, stuff you'd hear on the radio, see on MTV, all quality stuff. Can't deny his influence, his exiting salvo, if you will. That last album he put out when he knew he was dying is, by all accounts, incredible stuff.
Yeah.
So 100% respect from me, which big deal, who cares? But not because I dislike it, but it's just got my fill on the radio and MTV and just never was inspired to purchase a David Bowie album. But then when he went into the 80s with Let's Dance and what was the one that followed it? It had Blue Jean on it.
Isn't that the hell's that one called?
The one that's on the wall right there.
Yeah. See, I have, like I told you, I have pockets that I'm familiar with. I don't know all his stuff. My wife's a much bigger fan than me, but there's certain albums I know and a lot that I don't.
And that's David Bowie, right?
Yeah, that painting.
Drawn by punk legend
Jesse Michaels.
Jesse Michaels.
Yeah.
Hanging on Andy's wall.
It's the only cool thing I own.
A numbered David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite a signed Gorshin, but
No.
it's approaching that level.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's what I would say about David Bowie. I wish I was a fan of David Bowie or even tried to listen to his music when we had a band, because I think I would have found some inspiration in the varied catalog that he's had over the course of his career. But I didn't even listen to any of his songs other than the handful that, like Chris said, that you'd hear on the radio, the hits, until late 20s.
Yeah.
So, and then there's really a handful of albums that I have and listen to. I like Low a lot. I don't know. I like Ledger. Ledger's weird, but I like Ledger.
Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy
and all that
Stardust, of
stuff.
course, sure, yeah. But there's whole other eras that I'm not. I don't even know any of the stuff from the '90s.
Now, did you ever
Right.
have you ever seen him perform?
No, never.
No. Chris, did you ever see
No,
him?
never saw him.
Nick,
Yes,
Nick's the one in the room.
I
has?
did.
The Glass Spider tour by chance?
It was when he toured with Nine Inch Nails in like '95.
Oh, yeah.
And,
what venue was that?
That was at the outdoor, the Tweeter, the World, whatever you want to call it. At that time, I think it was the New World Music
Suck
Theater.
My Dick Center.
At this point, that's probably been named that for at least one summer.
I don't know. It's as viable as any other name you could come up with. For
Does
that
it have a
place.
Wikipedia page?
Yeah. If not,
Time for Pot Nation to troll Wikipedia again. Anyway.
yeah, it was. I did get to see him. I don't remember too much of it, but it was cool. The one moment I remember was this was '95, and he played "Man Who Sold the World."
Mm-hmm.
So '95, people are still talking about Cobain's suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, of course, it was still fresh. And when he got to each chorus, I remember there was a rise in the audience.
Okay. That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But I remember it being like a weirder, slow version, like more ambient kind of instrumentation.
Well, you've heard the studio version before, I'm sure, right? The David Bowie version, or no?
I think
It's pretty close to the Nirvana one's
Yeah.
pretty close to that. So
Yeah.
he must have just been doing something.
Yeah,
on
I think
that
he
tour
made
that was
it.
different.
He did it a little more dramatic. I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, of course.
Okay.
25 years ago.
Holy cow!
Jeez.
Yeah,
Where does the time go?
yeah. All
That
right.
was back in the day when you could actually call a venue the Suck My Dick Center. Times have changed.
Nobody had any problem with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. People didn't bat an eye when they drove up and saw the sign. It's printed on their ticket, announced on the radio.
Back when people didn't mind sitting on the lawn at the SMD pavilion.
All right. Well,
I'm excited though. I don't know a whole
Yeah,
lot of David Bowie. This cool title. So
Yeah, it's interesting to me. You hear a title like that, you think Alice Cooper, macabre type stuff. This will be the first, I would say, deep David Bowie cut I've probably ever heard.
okay.
Like any album cut that was never played on the radio, never heard it.
plus there was so much great stuff going on in '74 musically.
Well,
so
and
it's-
again, what
it's-
we talked about with Jericho, the '70s. I mean, just nonstop quality across the board.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I think if Andy didn't get a good song, we would have just canceled the show this week and
Well,
sat around and played with our Evel Knievel our stunt bike.
Name the band of the first choice that came up. Do you remember it?
No, it was like something I'd never heard of, and I don't even.
Andy
remember
didn't
now.
even look at it.
I didn't, but I
It was
remember
like
the number.
sun something moon, or I don't know.
What?
Yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that
Sun
Doing a
bullshit.
Sun moon bullshit on here.
The Sun Moon Center.
Oh,
The Bonsai Moon Center.
sun kill moon.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, no. Not doing it. Out of here with that. Who submitted that bullshit?
Tyler Wilson.
Yeah, get out. The hell out of here with that. Tyler Wilson. What were his comments about it? Anything?
It could be interesting based on the comment. It says, "In the spirit of Fred Bear." Don't know what that
Wow,
means, but
okay.
that's a head
All right.
scratcher. So
See, that's why you have to fill out the comments section. That's the kind of thing that can tip things over. But yeah, I mean, that would have been a real. Who knows if it's even available on any of the streaming services for us to
Possible, yeah.
analyze it.
you know what is available? Whatever this next product is. Good stuff.
Oh man, did I hear someone yelling in the background of the commercial? Someone in the engineer's booth while they were recording that.
That sucks.
Throwing a compressor overhand.
That's what Nick thought of the first choice that came out of the Bozoputer.
I would have done it.
Proverbially held it above his head with both hands and screamed out, "This sucks," and spiked it into the floor.
All right. Well, let's do it.
This is very cool so far.
You're a fan of this?
I am. It's got a TV theme music kind of a vibe. It's electronic sounding at this point. I mean, I don't know how advanced electronic music was in 1974, but I'm assuming this was kind of a state of the art sort of effect that they were pulling out.
Something kind of hit me today. I looked at you, wondered if you saw things my way.
I've noticed a lot of, I mean, David Bowie's somebody who, especially now, and I'm not saying that, don't read too much into that. I'm not saying, just because he died, people, but like when someone passes away, then a lot of accolades, are laid upon them and everything like that. Like there's a resurgence, obviously, record sales, everything. But he's somebody I've noticed that a lot of females are fans of his, and he's got a lot of vulnerability in his voice.
Okay.
So you're connecting the two.
It's attractive,
Phenomenon.
I'm thinking, right? Wouldn't you say that'd be attractive to women?
I think women...
A guy with that kind of...
They want some vulnerability to surface at some point in the relationship with a man. Maybe not right off the bat. But I do think in general they're kind of drawn to that. Kind of instills some confidence in them that they won't get raped if they're hanging out with this individual.
That's
all it means.
That is the goal.
Versus a ball cap wearing frat dickhead who's got roofies in his fifth
When they
pocket.
go to work the next morning, that's what the girls ask them.
Yeah. So
was it a good date? Yeah. So you didn't get raped?
Well, go to a college campus and hang around the frat row. That's a legitimate question nowadays, and it probably has been forever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's no vulnerability in those fucking lunkheads.
No,
All they want to do is fucking drink beer and rape people and things like that.
Well, it happens every year.
And
once a year.
curve the visor of their ball cap and, act like jackasses. That's pretty much it. So.
Hazing and raping and sometimes both at the
but
same
what you're
time.
saying is the polar opposite of that individual.
Yeah.
And I think more, there are female versions of the frat dickhead who are obviously attracted to those types of individuals. I think most normal women like to detect this quality in their male companion.
And I think in a singer, it's a desired quality from, I would say, primarily.
But you could also point at like a Tom Jones who doesn't really, maybe on like a ballad or something he does, but he's more just like power and hip shaking, and it worked for him too.
Yeah.
Right, but he doesn't have to rape anybody.
No, he doesn't.
He's getting fucked no matter what. And it's going to be the woman's choice. And in fact, it might not even be a choice. She's just going to instinctively mount him and have at it. But he's not going to be necessarily the aggressor in that scenario. But yeah, this guy is, the sensitive, artistic, androgynous type, very non-threatening to women and thus attractive to women.
And it's a type of delivery that is still very popular. I've noticed in men and in women, actually. A lot of women sing in this kind of style too, like very, very kind of almost overly emotional.
Well,
kind of a thing.
Give rise to the whole emo genre,
Yeah.
if you will.
And I can't think of the name. I'll find it later. But there was a singer in I think the 50s who would cry. A male singer
Really?
who would cry.
That's
that was like
that's
part
a
of
little
his gimmick.
much. Okay, that's when
Tears would actually start falling during the performance.
That's
And for
when the woman loses a little respect for you.
And
There's a fine line there.
Yeah.
You want to be vulnerable. You don't want to be a full-on pussy either. You know, seriously,
Yeah.
women
Well-
they want the vulnerability, but they don't want you to be an abject wimp. You know, you got to.
They want security also.
Well, exactly right. It's
Yeah.
like anything else in life. There's got to be a balance. Weeping while singing, that ain't cutting it. You know, now no woman is going to respect that. I mean, that's rolling the dice, making that your shtick.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a risky undertaking.
I'm trying to find
and you
who
have
it
to
was.
live with yourself in the aftermath. You know,
Johnny Ray.
Johnny Ray was
Yeah.
From as is noted in the "Come On Eileen"
I know,
song.
yeah.
That's right.
Well,
it was Johnny
if
Ray.
those jackasses are invoking him, he had to have been a pussy. So, but yeah, I mean, if he's actually doing that, you know, you got to live with yourself that you actually did that.
Yeah.
That you sunk to that level of pandering where you would just, as a man, shed tears as you're conveying your musical message. That's tough to live with.
People will hold us to blame. It hit me today. It hit me today. We're taking it hard all the time. Why don't we pass it by? Just reply, you've changed your mind. We're fighting with the eyes of the blind, taking it hard, taking it hard. Yet we feel that we are.
So musically, it's pretty sedate. With a title like "We Are the Dead." Wasn't really sure which direction it was going to go. I mean, you had it's got a similar vibe musically, at least partially, to "I Love the Dead" off of $1 Billion Babies.
Okay.
Well, and there you go.
With a mellow kind of a
That's when
thing.
you have that comparison.
And I don't know how. I mean, we heard a little bit. We heard the the sort of distorted guitar kind of entering in there. I don't know how. I don't know where this song's gonna go, but it's interesting to speculate at this point. Is this one that you? Yeah, so you're familiar with it?
I've heard this whole album
Yeah.
several times, but this is not on my shuffle list.
No.
So it's deep.
Interesting.
To me. Yeah.
It's an interesting song. I mean, it kind of has a lyrically and melodically, it's like a rambling kind of a quality.
Yeah.
Like it's not, at least to my ear, it hasn't been very repetitive. It's just kind of going, and then it'll go somewhere else, and then it flows into something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Kinda
there's
that
been
style.
a big hook.
Yeah, it's
of
kind of
any
that
way,
style of songwriting so far.
Yeah. Well, there's a long way to go.
Oh boy.
344 left.
One vehicle that blends classic style and modern design to
Who's-
create the next
The
generation.
hell is that?
Every 10 minutes, right?
That was me. Sorry. Don't you hate that? Fucking sites that activate sound.
That's bullshit.
It's 25 years into the internet. Nobody likes that. Stop
Isn't
doing
that
it.
isn't that what killed MySpace?
That's what people say. When
That's what I always felt it was.
all the racket and
Yeah.
animations on the pages.
yeah,
yeah.
the customization of
You have no choice but to have the loudest
yeah.
the loudest worst song ever play when you go on someone's page.
Paper choking on you nightly. They tell me, son, we want you Be elusive, but don't walk far. For we're breaking in the new boys. Deceive your next of kin for your.
I can tell you, this is one of those David Bowie songs where I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. There's a lot of those. Where
Well, he's artsy.
he's artsy, yeah.
So, I mean, he's one of those artists that can get away with basically putting anything out.
Yeah.
Anything that strikes his fancy. Mm-hmm. And there's something to be said for that.
There's a lot.
I mean, there are a lot of bands like that I don't like, but there is something to be said for having cornered that part.
You could just do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. Like a band I've spoken out against openly multiple times, but U2 is one of those bands. They could do their, whatever Zooropa and their weird lemon song, and it works with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're still the biggest band in the world, pretty much.
And Numb, with the weird music video for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, or REM had that.
Yeah, but I mean, Bowie seemed to be way more artistic about it and experimental, and
Yeah.
I think going in, you expect that from him. So
Yeah.
it's not like he could ever possibly throw you a curveball. It's like you consume a David Bowie album basically being like, whatever is going to come at me is totally fine because it's David Bowie.
Yeah.
Dancing where the dogs decay, defecating ecstasy. You're just an ally.
Did you say defecating ecstasy?
He sure did.
Wow.
He said you're
I
dancing.
got dibs on that band name.
A David Bowie tribute. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yes, that's perfect.
He said you're dancing where the dogs decay, defecating ecstasy.
That makes no sense.
Again, this is purely free-form, stream of consciousness art rock right here.
Yeah, it is.
The Legion, locator for the Virgin King. But I love you in your fuck me pumps and your nimble dress.
Did he say in your fuck me pumps?
He sure did.
Yeah. That's one of the great terms of all time.
Of all time.
This chick in college said that once. I'm like, what does that mean? And then, it became self-explanatory at that point. But the fact that he used that in a song is amazing, and makes me wonder how long that term was in circulation, or if it originated here, because she was the type of person who would be way into Bowie. I guarantee you, not knowing this or a fact, but I guarantee you she consumed a lot of Bowie music, probably this album. So I'm wondering if this is the origin of that term, or
it seems like terms, any kind of if you want to call it obscene or whatever kind of a term, it seems like it goes back farther than you figure. Anytime,
I get that.
You dive into that.
People act like it was such an innocent time before like the '60s, but.
Well, this is 74.
No, I know, but
this is when every downtown area in America was an absolute dirt hole.
I know, but that's sort of like a perception.
Defecating ecstasy everywhere.
It's a perception that like the late 60s was when things started to change in society, when everything wasn't so clean cut. But those terms were used. They just weren't used in pop culture or whatever.
Yeah, that's all it is, I think. It's only from that. If you're wearing the pop culture lens, then that's what it is. Yeah. But in real life, no.
Right.
Yeah, and when I had that job after Playboy, where I was working for that company where we did e-commerce stuff for Lord and Taylor, they had like initials. The shorthand for the little black dress was LBD. So I snuck in a couple FMPs in the shoe descriptions for fuck me pumps.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I slipped it in a couple times.
Wow.
Because I saw LBD, and I first questioned it, but then it occurred to me what it was. Mm-hmm. And then I got a pair of shoes, and I'm like, why can't we establish an acronym here? And so I snuck it into
They
a
went
few.
for it, huh?
Well, I think they just sailed past them. I don't think they were paying that close of attention to it. But yeah, this is hilarious. I mean, like I said, I first heard it in college in the late '80s, and I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Oh, I get it now. And again, what is that? What does it mean? Fuck me pumps. It means a woman puts these shoes on when she wants somebody to fuck her, correct?
Yeah, that's...
Would that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. The women want it, but they don't want to be, brutalized in the process. They want to wear it around someone they can feel comfortable around, yet they still want to engage in carnal activity with
Like
that
Johnny
individual. Well, no, they don't. They're not.
That's who they're thinking of.
But they don't respect Johnny Ray. Okay, David Bowie is a guy they can respect, yet they can feel comfortable around. Some fucking guy in Nickelback, he might rape them.
Oh my! Oh my! Well, it's been fun.
Well, but maybe that's. Have you heard some of their lyrics?
No.
They're fucking bizarre.
I can't say that I have.
They try to be sexy, but they come out creepy. They talk about like choking women and like the song "Something in Your Mouth." I mean, do the math on that one. It's like, and yet their audience is full of bros and broettes who think that's awesome and edgy and whatnot. But no woman who's into Bowie is going to be into that type of thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's a crossover.
Yet she's going to wear fuck me pumps around the guys she's comfortable with, who she wants to fuck her.
There you go. Lesson learned.
Well,
pay attention.
What else does it mean? It's like when somebody describes something as sexy.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, but something that normally wouldn't be sexy, but they describe it that way just because it's a cool word. It's
like a sexy car or something?
Well,
like an inanimate object? Or
yeah, well, but I mean, a car can be... What I'm getting at is, let's not play games with the English language. Sexy is describing something that makes you want to have sex. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. So, no example is coming to mind for me, but people drop that adjective all over the place. Just because it's an edgy word, it gets people's attention. But let's not make any mistake about what the word means. It means it makes you feel like you want to have sex.
Right.
Simple.
Well, this is an interesting concept to be signaling with your wardrobe choices. I think when I get home, I'm going to see how the wife responds when I put on my feed me pants.
Elastic waistband.
The real FMP.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And there you go. That's the different. That's the King of Queens dynamic. The fat dumpy guy married to the hot woman. Not necessarily you, but what I'm saying is the fat dumpy guy married to the hot wife. It's that whole dynamic.
Feed me pants.
FMPs, baby.
That's good.
Oh, dress yourself, my urchin one, for I hear them on the rails. Because of all we've seen, because of all we've said, beyond the dead. One thing kind of touch.
Just real quick, because we talked a lot there. Just sonically, as it's building, this would be cool to listen to on vinyl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, absolutely. It's the song itself is just kind of like it just has a cool vibe. Like it's not really like it's not a song where I think afterwards I'll be able to hum anything.
Yeah.
Which not every song has to be that way, of course. But just sonically, what I was just hearing as it was kind of building there, it occurred to me that probably would be a cool vinyl experience.
Well constructed, right? In the studio.
Well, and well produced.
Yeah.
It sounds good. There's definitely, this is almost like when you hear a swaggering riff, you say it's Zeppelin-esque, but this kind of production definitely invokes thoughts of late period Beatles, Sgt. Pepper, White Album, that kind of thing. The orchestral stuff, but also like that pulsating kind of arrangement of whatever instruments, horns, strings going on the bump, 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 like that.
And it kind of has
that's total Beatles. One of the reasons why I don't listen to them anymore, but
it's got
this is way more interesting than Beatles to me at this point.
It's got a somewhat of a Lennon-esque solo, kind of like when he's got the little bit slower material, but his stuff at that point would have been more stripped down. It wouldn't have had the sort of electronic vibe that this has.
Plus, Lennon was nowhere near on the level of Bowie. I think he wanted to be this kind of artist, like completely avant-garde, and he thought, marrying Yoko would get him there, but the material just isn't on the level of Bowie. I mean, I think he inspired to be that, but he didn't come close.
Well, he was a master pop, kind of a commercial kind of a songwriter and performer.
Right, and I think he wanted to get out of that box, and he had, give him credit for attempting it, but he's not in the same league or stratosphere as Bowie when it comes to this type of music.
And that type of image, for sure.
Yeah. He wanted to be that. He came up short.
Today, I looked at you and counted all the times we had laid, pressing my love through the night, knowing it's right, knowing it's right. Now I'm hoping someone will care.
That was a really cool little how you kind of got a reverse echo kind of effect that caught my attention.
Now, Bowie is the producer, listed as the producer of this album.
Is he? It's not Tony Visconti?
No, he said it's strings and mixing for Tony Visconti.
Okay.
Tony Visconti, by the way, produced Live and Dangerous for Thin Lizzy. He was the equivalent of Eddie Kramer doing live. Basically, sort of
interesting. I didn't know
jacked it up to that level. And of course, it's another one of those live albums where there's always some jackass who steps up and says, most of that was overdubbed. Like, nobody knows that. It's like, shut up. Go back to sleep. Listen to you and your revelations about, overdubbing on live albums. Literally everybody on the planet knows that. You can go to Kenya and ask some random guy in the street, did you know Live and Dangerous had overdubs on it? They will nod their head yes. With their Denver Nuggets 1980 NBA champion T-shirt on. Everybody on the planet knows that. So don't step up with that revelation. That's like announcing that the sky is blue. Everybody knows it. So shut your mouth the next time you plan on saying that, please.
I was thinking about one of my favorite things you've ever said, which was in the last probably 2 months. You were on a similar rant, and you said, "Go take a shit." I keep thinking. I've thought about it like at least once a week since you said it, and laughed to myself. I just want to say that to people whenever I get irritated.
It's true, though. Especially nowadays, like what we've been talking about lately, about how people are conducting themselves on social media and in person. taking a shit is in the top 80 percentile of desirable things that people should be doing.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 things for most people on the planet are less worth doing than defecating ecstasy, if you will. That's how much humanity has digressed over the years, or regressed, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
It's, whatever you're doing now, go take a shit. That's a better thing to do, is basically what I'm saying.
Go take a shit. That's got to be a once a week.
That's something you yell at someone at Meijer when they're talking too loud.
Yeah. When they don't have a mask on.
Well, we as we all know, in a slightly different context, it broke up Ted Irvin when he heard it come out of my mouth on Thanksgiving.
Destroyed him.
Yeah.
Speculating on what the Billy Squire's love interest was doing out of the shot in the Rock Me Tonight video. Viable theory.
It was. All right, let's keep going.
Living on the breath of a hope to be shared, trusting on the songs of our love, that someone will care, but now where today's scrambled creatures locked in tomorrow's double feature. Heaven is on the pillow. Its silence competes with hell. It's a 24-hour service, guaranteed to make you tell. And the streets are full of press men bent on getting hung and buried. And the legendary curtains are drawn round, baby.
I don't have any idea what he's talking
No, you're completely
He probably
lost
doesn't
at this
either,
point.
though.
Yeah.
Nor should, it's completely stream of consciousness stuff, which I can get on board with.
Yeah, I don't need to know what someone's singing about. I don't really care.
And I'm listening to this just kind of thinking, like, what drugs would make this a better listening experience? Naturally, you gravitate towards pot. Mm-hmm. Being stoned and listening to this would probably be something, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking something else, and I can't even put my finger on what it could be. Possibly LSD or something, but
Kind of hallucinogenic
this
drug.
is definitely something that would be interesting to consume while inebriated to some degree.
Bankrupt who sucks you while you're sleeping. It's the theater of financiers. Count them 15 round the table, white dressed to kill. Oh, caress yourself, my juicy, or my hands are...
That was a weird line. He said, "Oh, caress yourself, my juicy."
That one might come into play when you're wearing your feed me pants and you drop that on somebody. That would take it over the top immediately. Mm-hmm. That would have a Tom Jones-esque effect on a female in your proximity. There are 2 drummers listed among the personnel on this album. One is a familiar name who we've discussed fairly recently. One Ainsley Dunbar. This guy's name comes up on everything. I mean, the people he's worked with, and the various. Everything from this to fucking "Still of the Night" by Whitesnake. I mean, what a wide-ranging career he had. I mean, from here, I think he went almost straight into Journey. And then he was with Jefferson Starship for a while, but he's got quite the resume, and this is on it. So
Interesting. I thought this was the same band he had for the previous.
No. The other interesting thing is David Bowie is listed as the only, except for one guy on 1984. Bowie is the only guitarist, so no Ronson.
So this is a turning point then,
It
as far
seemed
as
like it.
band members, and he didn't have Tony Visconti producing. I mean, he was still there, but yeah, a little
Transitional
period.
thing.
Yeah, I went to this tour a few years, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. The band was called Holy Holy, and Tony Visconti played bass. It was a David Bowie tribute band at House of Blues. It was pretty cool. They had the original drummer, who I would say was probably mid-60s and played like a young Dave Grohl the whole time, like a maniac playing really hard,
Wow.
banging his head.
Good for him.
Wood Manzi, whatever his name is. I think that's right. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. He had a jean vest, a baseball hat, and was just going nuts the whole time. And glasses, I'm pretty sure.
Well, you got to see the drums.
Yeah.
At a certain age.
At a certain age, you don't know what you're hitting.
Got to make sure you're.
Yeah, but I was impressed with the power that dude played with at that age, and for a whole set.
Yeah,
too.
that's impressive.
Yeah, but he's not on this either. He's gone. So interesting.
All but withered. Oh, dress yourself, my urchin one, for I hear them on the stairs because of all we've seen, because of all we've said. We'll be dead.
That was me. That wasn't part of the song. Just to be clear.
You know what though? Yeah, with this kind of thing, it could
never know.
anything. Like Chris said, anything could just come up, and
You just accept it.
your belief is or disbelief has already been suspended. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are dead. We are dead.
All right. There you have it. Interesting.
Yeah, it's quite the listening experience.
This is it's something we've talked about before on this show. And it's where if you picked a song by an artist, it wouldn't be this one. If you're going to pick one to listen to and do an episode about, I wouldn't have chosen this one. It would have been.
But that's the beauty of the Bozoputer and the listener submission list, and new discoveries are always make for interesting episodes.
That's it. All right. Well, I guess I'll go first since I sort of chose this off the list. I'm going to give it a very slight Sweet Surrender.
It's Sweet Surrender. Hell yes.
I say very slight. It's a bit of a dirge. Like Nick said, it's an album track. Like if you put this on a record player and press play and listen to the whole album and just paid attention to what's going on musically, and not even necessarily like, I'm not saying musically like it's a virtuoso highlight reel or something, that's not what I mean, but it's sonically, like, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But also, stealing other things Nick said, there's no discernible hook to the song. It's just kind of it's almost like a weird updated beat poetry thing.
Yeah.
He's just saying stuff. And you get a vibe from it, and it's unique and cool. Like, I get, there's an emotion behind it that you can understand and feel without, literal lyrics that you're reading and completely understanding, line by line. But, like I said, not what I would have chosen. I would have chosen, I don't know, Station to Station or something. But this is what we got, and I give it a slight Sweet Surrender. Who's next?
I'll go next. I'll give it an artsy kick to the Kick to the crotch.
What kind of shoe would that be?
Feed me pumps.
Okay.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch.
Like I was saying before, it's sonically it was very cool. It would be cool to listen to on vinyl. The song itself, I mean, I kind of get, okay, it's just, it's like a weird kind of rambling thing. And I did like, there were, I think he said it maybe 4 times toward the end there when he just said the title. When he said, "We Are the Dead." Mm-hmm. And there was a kind of it was arpeggiated kind of a guitar part that had some little bit higher register notes that weren't in there before. There was that little section that I thought, okay, like I that part is registering with me.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was the hook, and it's just, hey, we'll do it a few times at the end, and that's it. Who knows? It's not the classic A whatever structure of songwriting. It was it kind of a rambly kind of thing, kind of weird, lyrically just all over the place. Probably didn't mean anything. Pretty cool track, but just not for me by and large. Just I guess I need a little more candy. I guess I do like my candy sweet and my Love and Nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I'll pass that over to Chris.
Yeah, I'm strictly on the strength of the "Fuck Me Pumps" inclusion in the lyrics. I'm going to give it a sweet surrender.
It's sweet surrender. Hell yes.
I mean, this is the type of song that you probably would benefit from being inebriated on something. It's a little more cerebral than liquor or alcohol. And it's probably a song that's best consumed in the context of the whole album. Whereas you put the album on, you listen to it front to back. This is obviously in the days when albums were created as a single work versus just a random menagerie of songs. I mean, not that every band did that, but certainly Bowie just... and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, Andy. You're more of the Bowie fan, but I think his albums were consciously put together, songs sequenced.
I think so. Yeah.
Songs that made the cut versus ones that didn't make the cut were included for a reason and not just because you thought it was a single or a hit.
Yeah.
They're all blended in, so
like a body of work, like you said.
Yeah, right. A lot of people say that music from the Elder is one of those things that should be consumed front to back. I'm not prepared to do that ever, but I would think any Bowie album with, obviously Rebel Rebel is the single, and then the title track, people are familiar with that. But I think, filling out an album, everything was put there with intent. The order of the songs, everything intentionally arranged so that you were supposed to sit down and listen to this front to back. So I think maybe in that context, might make a little more sense. But in general, it's art rock and not necessarily supposed to be making sense. And this is. Would you say he's the quintessential art rock performer? I mean, can you think of anybody before him who was doing this kind of thing? He came out in 67 as Davy Jones and stuff, and did like more kind of typical pop stuff of the day, Beatles-esque influence, but he obviously went to a whole different level.
I don't know.
Quickly.
I don't know if Zappa at all counts as art rock.
Maybe.
Yeah,
it's different.
I mean, I would
it's
say
different type of art.
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah.
His was more of a crude, with humor in it, I'd say, as opposed to
Yeah, but it's still like again artsy and off the wall, out of left field, and so I would say maybe those two, and
You know what? It was 64 when he did the Davy Jones stuff.
Jeez.
And then 67 is the first David Bowie album.
All right, and that's right around the time when Zappa, Mothers of Invention came out, right?
Yeah.
And I think these guys are neck and neck in terms of the pioneers of art rock, avant-garde stuff. Mm-hmm. So, that's par for the course, and I don't know, especially when you delve into the deep cuts of his albums, this is the kind of thing you're going to get, and you have to be an adventurous listener to really dig into it and appreciate it, or you need to be fucked up in some degree. Would help, I would think.
Yeah. All right, well, there you have it. If you disagree with us, we're sorry.
That's just the fucking way it is.
That's right. Hey, guys, you know what it's time for? A commercial.
Oh, yes.
Terrible stuff. Just terrible. Garbage. Nonsense. Don't listen to that idiot.
That was a woman, wasn't it?
She can be an idiot, too.
Okay. I didn't know we were calling women names on this show, but okay.
Well, it's her fault. She brought it upon herself. All right. Well, guess what it's time for? That's right.
Sing away.
Yes, Chief.
Welcome to the Pot of Thunder Yardo Questions. Brought to you by Nick's Apple Spice Cake.
The great taste of donut in a cake.
It's just a whole bunch of donut. It's very good, thank you.
Giant donut.
I'm going through some of these Yardo questions. So many of them. I'm not criticizing necessarily.
Go with the most avant-garde.
Yeah. Well, so many have two good questions, and then the third question is just like a throwaway question, if you will. Like
The We Are the Dead of
Like-
the questions.
well, it's like, hey, do you want to see my butthole or something?
Oh,
It's like,
well, we
okay,
can answer
great.
that.
Yeah, it's like, that's... No.
It's 3 questions. How do you run out of gas after 2 questions?
I would say 50% of them, that's
How
a theme.
brain dead are you? I mean, come on.
Maybe they're thinking, maybe they won't notice. No, Andy notices.
I noticed.
Just letting everybody out there know.
All right. Here we go. This is a good one. This Yardo Questions comes to us from Joe Mufali.
Ah, hello, Joe.
I recognize that name.
So, question 1. Which was your favorite, or what you think is the most memorable VH1 Behind the Music episode, and why? Either favorite and or most memorable.
Oh, boy.
Did you? I think Nick definitely watched a lot of those. Chris, did you watch that show all the time?
I'm sure I saw it. I would imagine I've seen, if not everyone, pretty close to.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious answer, of course, is Motley Crue. I mean, the Nikki Sixx dialogue, in fact, is possibly inspired an Instagram memes page that
May happen.
may announce at some point, but that's the obvious answer. I'm going to go in a different direction and say people wonder about my Pitbull fandom, which is legitimate. It's not. I'm not doing it to be ironic. I'm not doing it to be a jackass, which I have been known to do things to be a jackass. This is not one of them. And the reason why was because it's behind the music. It might be completely fabricated, PR generated, record label bullshit. Whatever it is, the way his backstory was conveyed on that episode locked me in for life.
Okay. Interesting. So that was like the resurgence of Behind the Music.
It was the resurgence.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
It came back for a couple years or 1 year, whatever it was. Was that mid-2000s or something like
Probably.
that? Yeah. Okay. Nick?
I'm going to say the Selena Behind the Music.
Okay. Interesting.
Just, I mean, there's a reason why there was a big movie made about her life, because it's a sad tragedy and everything the way it ended up, but a great story.
Yeah.
So it's and the way that I remember them having it on the way that they put it all out there on Behind the Music was
plus they had everybody on there. They had her executioner.
They did, and she just denied everything, and she was the most frustrating person ever. But it's all part of the the show, unfortunately.
Yeah, the patriarch of the family, who wonderfully portrayed by Edward James Olmos in the movie. Selena is on par with La Bamba.
Yeah.
No
They're
question
like
about
sister movies.
Oh yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure I've even seen the the double movie disc thing,
Menards or something.
Yeah, somewhere with those two.
Those two packaged
Well, I mean,
together.
those two would go together.
They would, and the movies are similar too.
That would be a great double feature to drive in.
Yeah.
I'd go there immediately if it was happening.
Yeah.
I'd be there. I'd be in the front row for that.
And when Richie dies, I'd be at the concession stand. Then when Selena dies, I'd go take a shit.
Yeah, well,
because
you don't want to see either.
I don't
want
to see either
no,
one.
I don't
can't
either.
sit through that at this point.
No.
Why is that? Why wouldn't you sit through the tragic endings?
I don't need it. I know what happens. I saw it once.
Good for you.
I don't want it.
I'm on Andy's side with this. Yeah.
I just want the happy parts.
So you just
I don't
leave?
have time. I turn it off when it's on. I'll watch up to then on TV and I turn it off.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
They didn't die if I turned it off.
No, but I mean, Esai Morales, Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
Both incredible performances.
Yeah.
Both of them should have won Oscars. I mean, amazing stuff.
Yeah. Kind of going to give away the punchline by even bringing this up. But that comedian Greg Giraldo, one of the best jokes I've ever heard in my life was when he said, he was talking about some article. So this is when George W. Bush was president, at the time of this. But he was talking about some article came out that said George Bush is the worst president in history. And he's like, that's not true. Maybe worst American president. He's the president of the Selena fan club killed Selena.
Yeah. That would be the worst president ever.
There you go. You can't
brilliant
argue
joke.
with that.
Yeah. Absolute worst job you can do.
Excellent leading up to that point, she embezzled the shit out of all the money.
Which is why she killed her.
She was absolutely the worst.
Yeah, terrible lady.
Until Trump came along, but that's beside the point.
Well, we don't usually have those kinds of discussions on our Facebook page.
People get angry with each other.
I know, man.
Yeah, I couldn't resist though because it was Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question 2. Which was your favorite MTV Unplugged and why? Similar theme here.
There were a lot of great ones. I mean, I don't know that it's my absolute favorite, but the Kiss one was incredible.
It's got to be up there.
As overplayed as it was, the Nirvana one was spectacular. It's a tragedy that Stone Temple Pilots only got a half hour.
What was that about?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know, but theirs is excellent. And
was it something else? Was it not Unplugged?
Speaking of David Bowie, a song that did not make it onto air, which I believe they did during that performance, was Andy Warhol.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Interesting.
So they would have had they did. I guess I'm gonna go with that one. My favorite band, blah blah blah. But just the stuff they did, it was sort of like what Nirvana did, where they Nirvana didn't really re-groove stuff, but they pulled some interesting cover songs.
Yeah.
And Stone Temple Pilots like Sex Type Thing, that re-grooved version of Sex Type Thing is just a wonderful idea, I thought. Takes a song that's that heavy and changed the style of it, and it still worked, and then pulling out a new song that wasn't even released at all, putting that on there.
What was that?
They put Big Empty
Big
on
Empty?
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was before, huh?
Yeah, it was before it came out.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a tragedy that they didn't get more than a half hour.
Was that the Big Empty performance where it's just the two guys? Or that's something else?
That's Plush. That was.
Oh, you're
yeah.
right. Okay, you're right. I'm confusing the two.
Yeah.
My bad. But that's not from the same performance,
No.
right? That's something else. Okay.
No. And
Okay.
I just saw. It was just the anniversary a few days ago. It was on their Instagram page. I think it was 25 years ago. They were on the MTV Video Music Awards, and they played Pretty Penny. Just, some percussion instruments and the two acoustic guitars. And they had like a little, just some couches, like a living room set up on the stage. Just they just always pulled out something cool.
Yeah.
They didn't just go up there and play, whatever the big hit was every time.
Just do like their live set, but unplugged.
Yeah, I mean, Pretty Penny was never a single. It was never, it's just a deep cut, but they brought that out. So
Worked.
yeah,
That's cool.
a lot of respect, and there, Weiland was a huge Bowie fan, bringing it back to this episode.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Chris?
I'm going to go against grain a little bit and say the LL Cool J. On
Really?
The Roots?
Yeah. Yeah, he was,
That was a big one.
He had a band behind him, and it's also, I pulled it up on the internet so I could remind myself of some of the songs he did, but it reminded me of a hilarious part of it. LL Cool J is shirtless throughout the whole thing. There's a bit in here in this little write-up. It says, roll on deodorant for all to see. He's got like white deodorant residue on his in his armpits through the whole thing. Hilarious. But, he had acoustic guitars, congas, percussion, all sorts of cool instrumentation, which kind of blows up the misconception that hip-hop rap artists don't have any musicians playing with them, or there's nothing musical about it.
Yeah.
And that's, like you said, with the STP reimagining Sex Type Thing, that's the whole point of being in that environment, is you have to strip it down and be musical about it, which I think was why the whole series was so successful. But yeah, I'm gonna vote for LL Cool J.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember that being one that was built up like in commercial breaks.
The LL
for
Cool
that
J
it was
one?
coming up. Yeah, I remember
Really?
like the Nirvana one, of course, was its a landmark television event or something like that. But I remember the Roots and LL Cool J one was also not quite on the Nirvana level with promotion, but it was. I do remember it being built up, and I remember watching it and thinking, this is different. This is really cool.
You know what's weird about the Nirvana one? I feel like, and I don't have like every Nirvana bootleg. I was never a fan on that level, but hearing Nirvana live, either bootlegs or didn't they have one actual live album that came out maybe after or whatever? But hearing that stuff, they didn't seem like they were that tight of a band anywhere else other than Unplugged.
I mean, I think they sort of were, but yeah, the Unplugged one, and I want to say they're one of the Unplugged episodes where there's all this drama behind it. There's this story where it almost didn't happen. Rehearsals went bad, like the Neil Young one where supposedly he left.
Because the rehearsals went bad?
I think so. Or they either that or they had actually started recording and it wasn't happening. And he just left and then came back and then ended up, it ended up working after that. So I think there is some sort of story where it was like a lightning in a bottle moment for Nirvana.
Definitely was. It seems like it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. There's 3 of these, huh? Oh, yeah. Question 3. If you could only have access to one specific fast food item for the rest of your life, what would it be? Thank you, Joe. That's an excellent Yardo questions.
So fast
One
food.
fast food item.
Now we talking? It's got to have a drive-through attached.
Well,
I just
not
think a
necessarily.
menu item, right?
Okay.
well, next thing, does the place?
Yeah.
have
Does it
like
to
is-
qualify as fast
what-
food?
yeah,
does
what
does a
qualifies?
drive-through have to? Well, actually, the place I'm thinking of now does have a drive-through, so I
Okay.
think I'll be okay.
Well, that's a valid question, though. It's Five Guys,
Yeah.
fast food. 'Cause I've never seen one with a drive-through.
I
Which
would
is
say
kind of
yes.
I would say yes too, but it's kind of a strange business model
It
to
is.
consciously not have a drive-through to make people go in. That's again kind of a risky undertaking.
Yeah.
It's like weeping on camera like Johnny Ray. The Five Guys is the Johnny Ray of burger joints. Really taking a risky approach to what they're trying to do. But do you have something in mind?
Yeah, I think so. I want to say it correctly, but it's. I think. No, I'm just trying to think of exact because it's one of those limited time things.
An ethnic name.
No, I'm just trying to. I just want to make sure I get the combo correct. But it was. I think it was the sweet fire chicken breast with the chili sauce over at Panda Express would probably be my pick.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
Sweet fire chicken breast.
yeah, with the pineapple chunks.
Damn.
Not
That's
bad.
next level.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I saw a Panda Express TV commercial earlier this evening. You noticed their new tagline?
No,
No?
I've not seen a commercial from them.
It's I'm assuming it's new because it's the first time I've noticed it. I mean, I don't pay close attention to what Panda Express does at all times, but this one, I've seen their commercials. I would have noticed this because it leapt off the TV screen at me. What's one of my catchphrases, Andy?
Go take a shit.
Well, aside from
Succumb to my.
that's aside from that.
Got a million. I mean,
That's good copy.
oh yeah. Okay.
Here's their tagline: "Walk on." WOK on. That's good, man. It's like you wonder how nobody thought of that before.
Yeah.
But here it is. Whatever agency they paid to do that, they got their money's worth from that. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that is excellent.
I'm going to have to go with what is pound for pound my favorite fast food item of all time. I still crave it. I haven't had one in years, but it's the one thing I still kind of crave on occasion. The Burger King Whopper.
Oh,
It's just the combination of the flame broiling, real or alleged, whatever is going on back there.
Yeah.
It works for me. With the toppings, the particular toppings they use, specifically tomato. That's the one.
That's the one.
That is the one.
What was the? I thought you were going to say your favorite Taco Bell item. What was the one that you always mention?
Meximel?
Yeah.
Was it the Meximel?
It's up there.
Okay.
Basic bean burrito is pretty solid too, unlike the ensuing bowel movement. But yeah, Whopper for me, man. Now Andy's a fast food aficionado. What will your answer be? It's got to be a McDonald's item.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's forever though, oof, that's tough. Yeah, you might have to go with just a classic, like a quarter pounder. It's not very adventurous, but forever, we're saying.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That's why it's tough.
Like, Nick, I give him credit for picking a limited time item.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you think in the long game, classics are classics for a reason.
It has to be a burger of some sort for me. And that's probably what it would be. Classic. I'm thinking Arby's too, but I don't know about forever. I think I'd get sick of it. Arby's Philly beef. Excellent item, but not forever.
Yeah.
My number 2 might be the famous bowl over at KFC.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Okay. They still have those?
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
What's that? Corn, potatoes,
Yeah.
chicken fingers,
Gravy, cheese.
It's hard to go wrong with that. KFC is pretty solid when you think about it.
And the cornbread's been gone for I don't know how many years. They had the best cornbread.
Oh. Well,
Gone.
They didn't have chicken sandwiches for like a decade for some reason. I don't know what
Yeah.
they were thinking.
Well, the Chicken Littles were huge, but
Yeah.
they were like the McRib, where they were only there every so often.
Yeah. My problem with KFC is they invented a trend that Popeyes started doing for a while, but now they went back on it, thankfully, which is why everyone started shitting their pants over the Popeyes chicken sandwich, where they didn't want to make chicken tenders and chicken sandwich patties, so they just put a couple chicken tenders on a bun.
Right.
Yeah. That's KFC's fault.
Yeah, and that's
Cheap bastards.
These are menu decisions made by marketers,
Yeah.
not anybody with any culinary
No.
training or anybody in a culinary position. That shit is all come up with at the marketing table.
Yeah, so it's like just put 2 of those on.
Exactly, and it's all a numbers game at that.
Give me a
point.
raise. Yeah.
Exactly. I've earned my.
Here's another one. We're
I've
not going to
earned
do
my,
spoons and forks.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to do the spork.
I've earned my $200,000 marketing salary.
Yeah. And also, to save on plastic, we're going to cut these weird triangular shapes out of the handles of the spork. We're going to save 15% of our plastic.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And when there was the backlash against fried foods, it's like we're just going by KFC now.
Yeah.
Change all the signs.
Yeah.
It's going to cost a lot of money, but what matters is I'm earning my $200,000 salary with that move.
Yep.
And then I heard recently that they've eliminated the finger looking good tagline because of COVID.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
But again,
stupid.
some marketing dickhead has earned their fat salary.
Yeah.
Never mind how much it costs to strip that out of like signage and advertising. Makes no difference. You will end up $1 million in the hole. But I got us a free article on CNN.com.
Right.
I've earned my salary.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Only in America.
That's true. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today. Hey, if you need a new hat for your head, 3 colors. What was it called? I believe it was black, navy, and stone was the color.
Ooh.
Like a grayish, beige-ish. Nice summer cap for the last 2 weeks of summer for you.
Yeah, I
man.
think this is the last week as of this when this
Yeah,
episode
you're right.
comes out.
One more week.
Yeah, a week and a half.
Hey,
Maybe.
you buy it, I'll get it to you within faster than Amazon, I'm going to say. Sending it out the same day that your order
Are we
comes in.
finally unleashing the pot drone?
It's just me driving it to their house. I have nothing else to do.
There you go. Andy's the drone.
Yes. Alrighty. Well, we'll be back next week with maybe a pick from Nick. We'll see.
Oh my. Maybe it'll be this.
No good. Damn. Mama. Listen here. Peckerwood mama. Look at the state you left me in.
What's the menu of Andrew's favorite fast food item?
It's got to be something from KFC. I would think so. Yeah, he likes bone-in chicken.
Churches, maybe.
Yeah, maybe churches.
You talk your trash when I need loving. You don't need a flash. You peach-colored demon. So bad as can be. Beckerwood, my.
Either that or a marble donut from Dunkin' Donuts. Marble frosted.
The death of me, baby. Have mercy, mama. Called her last night. I did some spying. Talked to Nick Carter on the party line.
Oh, my little sweet baby lamb. My honey child. You know you don't have to put up with that man of yours. Nicardo will always be here waiting for you.
Yes.
Oh, that's right, my little farina dumpling.
Say it so, mama.
Yeah.
She wronged me once and twice and thrice. Now I'm gonna ask the big dropper for advice.
Hello, Andrew. Yeah, this is the big Thrapper speaking. I hear you're having some trouble with your woman. She said, what? She did what? Oh, Andy, you know this I don't like. You gotta take your pecker and lay the wood to that trifling hole. That's right. You gotta pull your dick out. Fuck that motherfucker. You the motherfucker who owns that motherfucker. Oh.
Classic.